What is going on, guys? Back in with another video, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at a smartwatch. Not the first smartwatch I've ever reviewed before, but this one's there's some things that blew me away, at some misconceptions about smartwatches that really aren't from the big brands that I have to go over. But before I get into that, just make sure you subscribe just so you can stay tuned for more tech reviews. So the watch I'm going to be looking at today is the one I'm wearing right here. It's the FitV GT5 Pro. Now, the few things that it blew me away on initially were immediately the display. So when it comes to different brands of smartwatches, especially when it's not the bigger brands, the display always lacking. The displays always look pixely, and the thing that's always going to differentiate the lesser brands from more so like the big billion-dollar type brands is always going to be the quality. I've always noticed that there's a noticeable difference in quality in just the fit and the comfort and even sometimes the functionality, but the quality is the one thing that's always going to stand out. So with this one, it is an 1.83-inch AMOLED display. And even when I did my outdoor testing, right, which is the most important one for me, because like I kind of don't care how the watch looks indoors because it's going to have optimal lighting, right? There's not going to be too many different light sources that are going to distort how it looks. The key thing here is how the display looks outdoors, especially when it's fully sunny out. Then it's going to really give you an idea of how well the display looks. Now, this one, the display, you can also adjust how bright it gets because I'm used to smaller companies having displays that really get annoying when trying to use them outdoor. You know, you have to do the old hand over display just so you can get enough shading to be able to read what is on the display itself. With this, I didn't find myself needing to do that or having to do that for the most part, and it's good because you really want ease of use and ease of access whenever you're using smartwatches. Because at the end of the day, they have to be optimal for enough for you to be able to use them regardless of whatever scenario that you may be in. So moving on, there is also a button at the side. Basically functions as your home button and your return key. And then there's going to be the electrolyte key as well. And at the bottom, there's going to be the heart sensor and then some electrolytes also there as well. Now, as for the home screen, so far there's only about 6 that you can choose from. Honestly, I was a little disappointed in that. I like to see a variety and options and choices that you can choose just to make it more comfortable and better to use. And the thing that blew me away, the strap itself is about 22 millimeters. And something that I've noticed when it comes to different brands is that, especially when it comes to the leather straps, they're not comfortable. After a long time, they feel strenuous and they start to leave marks and bruises. Well, these, the comfort, you know, the thing about smartwatches is the more comfortable they are, the more you're going to be likely to leave them on. Comfort, especially on this smartwatch, is something that honestly I was looking forward to because of how it feels. It doesn't feel like it's a strain, or it doesn't feel uncomfortable at all, which it's a big thing for me when it comes to smartwatches. So to use the smartwatch, you're going to have to use the app, but minimum you're going to have to either have Android 6.0 or iOS 10. And as for the app, it's not the best looking app or the best app in general, but I want to differentiate the two because just because the app isn't that, it doesn't or shouldn't necessarily mean it should take away from the watch, right? Like it's the apples and oranges, and kind of, right? Just because the app doesn't function that great doesn't mean it should diminish the functionality of the watch. Even though they do work hand in hand, the watch is still a great piece, but the app, it really wasn't a cup of tea. It was a little laggy and buggy for me, but differentiating those two from each other and putting them apart, the watch is it's still a good watch, but the app doesn't do it any favors. So there's a litany of things that the watch offers, right? Which at this point, those things are more so like the standard when it comes to smartwatches in general, right? So you have your ECG, you have your blood oxygen monitor, you have your sleep test, whatever that you may think of at this point is basically the minimum. It's a standard now for smartwatches. So those really, yeah, it's great that it has those, but that doesn't really set it apart, make it different from say other smartwatches that you might find on the market. Now, what makes smartwatches different, or what makes them stand out from each other, is uh, the accessibility and honestly just how much it makes your life easier, right? So with this, you can also change and control the music if you're connected to your phone via Bluetooth, and you can also receive text. And there's also some shortcuts you can use in there, like a flashlight, and controlling the screen brightness, just so you can make it more so fit your personality and how you want to be able to use it. For me, I think the battery life is the biggest selling point for the Splash because it lasts between 7 to 15 days, depending on how heavy you go on the usage and what level you use the brightness on. So depending on the type of person that you are, you could really stretch this out, say, for maybe even the whole month. And a full charge only takes about 3 hours or so. So you're looking at anywhere from a 3 hour charge lasting you 7 days to who knows how long, depending on what type of user you are. Positive again, also it's IP68 water resistant. So what that means is you could submerge it in at least a meter and a half of water for up to 30 minutes. So it's a watch you can go swimming in. And although it's marketed as a smartwatch, it's also fits as a fitness tracker at the same time because it has a step counter and whatnot. And then at the same time, you could also use it if you want to go swimming and just have it track your activity. So this is like an in-betweener. It's not either one or the other. I feel as though it's more so of like a hybrid, a mix of the two, because yeah, it has smartwatch capabilities, but it has tendencies of a fitness tracker. So this smartwatch, it's good. Again, I didn't like the app. I'm not a fan of how it was, at least for my perspective when I use it. Watch itself, when it comes to display, which is my favorite part, and how comfortable it is. I think this one definitely stands out from like different brands, especially different brands that aren't really like the big ones, if you know what I mean, in the market. Then this one will do you good. Now, the price point is also competing with the big ones, so I don't know if they want to go that far and make it so they're competing with those type of companies. But if they really do want to make a splash, I think maybe like cutting it down like by half or something, then it's really viable because it's a really good smartwatch, but one that maybe I don't know if you want to drop that kind of money on it as compared to what you'd be spending on others in the market. But again, let me know what you think. That's just my opinion. If you found this video helpful, should subscribe just so you can stay tuned for more videos like this.